Hello guys, today we're talking about Weasel forms. Weasel forms have been introduced in the Aurora region, and many Pokemon outgain Weasel forms. We're not going to be going over A and Gen 1 Pokemon, because I feel like Gen 1 has too many Weasel forms. Because literally, it's Raichu, Sandshrew, Vulpix, it's all Gen 1 Pokemon. So it'll be S2 excluding Gen 1 Pokemon, because only a good amount of them have a Weasel form. And there's already many more hinted of Gen 1 Pokemon specifically that have Weasel variants in Weasel forms. Come on, Game Freak. You gave Zigzagoon a Weasel form, but you're skipping out all these other Pokemon that also deserve Weasel forms as well. First Pokemon that needs a Weasel form is Spinarak and Ariados. These Pokemon are spider Pokemon. I think that Spinarak and Ariados could, if they make an Australia-based game, a game that's based around Australia, they could easily make a Pokemon. Instead of making a new Pokemon based off, say, the Photo Web, why not just make it what Weasel, Spinarak, and Ariados? Instead of being bug poison, the poison dark type, because they're the most venomous Pokemon. No, very venomous. And they are much more aggressive, giving them the dark type than they are normal Spinarak, which gives the reason why it's dark type. Or we could have two separate spider Pokemon, but I think a seasonal variant for that Pokemon needs to be created. Next is a Weasel. If a Pokemon is game based off Africa, Weasel could have a Weasel form originating from Africa because she was originating from Africa as a continent. Maybe instead of electric type, it's a ground type or a grass type or any other type. It would just be cool to see some variety in some of these other Pokemon and other generations other than Gen 1. Weasel and Substrika are pretty cool Pokemon, and maybe have a reasonable form of them that is completely different. Or even the original Substriker and Blitzel, and maybe the Blitzel and Substrikers were actually introduced to Univar, and the original variants were actually, the original region are actually pretty common now. That would be a pretty cool introduction to a Pokemon that is also pretty awesome. Next Pokemon, number 3. I think one star that could actually get a Weasel form is Greninja Ryan is no, actually not gonna go over the Greninja Ryan. Or another Pokemon that could be a Weasel, no, that could be get a Weasel form in the future is Young Goose and Gumshoos. These two Pokemon were said to be introduced to Aurora, so maybe they might have a Weasel variant in the Weasel region. It would be pretty cool to see them being different in the original region and them adapting to be a normal type in Aurora and other regions as well. And maybe the original region makes them dark type, but they become normal type because they have no other predators and they can eat and they also hunt in the day. Or maybe another reason can have Gumshoos, but they adapt to being at night. Completely the opposite of Young Goose already, which is pretty interesting for Pokemon that was just recently introduced. Number 4, Yamma. Yamma is a pretty unique Pokemon. I think Yamma is a Pokemon with great potential for a regional variant. Yamma is a pretty generic Pokemon, but you can make a fire type Yamma or a dragon type Yamma or a electric type Yamma in a different region. Maybe explain that they have adapted to different area and they are very different than the other area. Yeah, making Yamma very different. I think these Pokemon need to get more attention, and Weasel variants were supposed to get Pokemon that will be that much loved, or beloved Pokemon, or underrated Pokemon, more purpose, like Firefest D and Zigzagoon and Ponyta. Because outside of Gen 1, who will use this Ponyta? Maybe in Gen 4, where Ponyta is also found. Um, or Pokemon that needed a new version, or Pokemon that needed memes like Exeggutor. Number 5. Statler. Statler could easily get a ice type variant. Okay. Statler is based, I think it's based off the, okay, what is Statler based off of? Caribou, which are found in the Arctic. Which means Statler could be a weasel variant or subpopulation in another area. We've always seen something similar of Sarsbuck. But maybe Statler can have its own version where it's found in the Arctic area similar to actual caribou. An ice-type version would be pretty cool. And it would be basically like its inspiration. It would be more actually like a caribou, less like this. And it would probably look more like a reindeer as well. Number 6. Gen 6, Gen 3 is basically one of the best generations of Pokemon. There are very few bad Pokemon in Gen 3. There's only 4 or 5 bad Pokemon in the Gen. And that's basically it. Then this is what I found. This is the inspiration for the video. The Slakoth line. Slakoth is a pretty lazy Pokemon. Slakoth and Vigoroth but Slaking is should get a reasonable form that makes it more like its inspiration, the giant ground sloth. The giant ground sloth was a very dangerous animal to go by. The only thing that could kill it were humans. Or beat it. Okay, defeat it. Maybe Vigoroth and Slaking could be more fighting types. Grass types, and Slakoth can be a grass type, can be like a baby. And Vigoroth and Slaking can be more like the inspirations, the giant ground sloth, and be more dangerous. And sloths are supposed to be lazy, but the giant ground sloth wasn't really that lazy as it walks around, and it was the complete opposite of modern day sloths. So basically, it could be found in the plains area, kind of similar to the giant ground sloth, and it could be a very, very tanky Pokemon, and maybe decrease these legendary stats down a bit, down to like 580. And that's it about Slaking. And especially decrease down its speed, because Giant Ground Sloth was pretty slow, it can kind of make it a tank, like the actual Giant Ground Sloth in real life. Number 7. Hippowdon and Hippowdon. These Pokemon are based off hippos. So, therefore, they should get a reasonable variant that are more like actual hippos. Instead of using sand, they use water. This sounds like a pretty cool idea, as these Pokemon are based off hippos. And instead of them being obsessed with sand, they'll be obsessed with water, kind of like real life hippos. And it kind of makes sense if you give them a reasonable variant that are more like real life hippos. Instead of being ground type, they can be water type and replace with a bunch of water type moves. Thus we can have a better hippo Pokemon, found by the water. And maybe it can be in the same area where the regional Weasel could be, since they're both based off animals found in Africa. Well then, there's another animal that should get a regional variant as well that's also based off Africa, and that is another Gen 6 Pokemon. Okay, what was it? No, Whitwheel and Pyroar. Maybe instead of being fire normal and the regional area where Africa is supposed to be, Whitwheel can be a fire dark type, and it can still keep its fire type, and it can look more aggressive because it's in its natural habitat. And maybe the other Pyroar will introduce to Kalos in other regions because of how cute Whitwheel is, and making them introduced to other regions. They're like the Pokepelago and Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Blue. Oh wait, that's a place you can put your Pokemon in. Oh, that's different. But what if they are actually introduced to Route 22 in X and Y. That explains why I can only find them in Route 22. Maybe in another region they're more common, and that's probably why. Number 9. The Mareep line. Sheep are docile animals. I don't think there's gonna be a variant of sheep in. But what if we have a Pokemon game based off New Zealand? Sheep are pretty common now. What if we have a different variant of Mareep, but all we do is change it to Fairy type, which means it's just a Fairy type variant of Mareep, which it'll be more cuter. Which is very hard to make Mareep cuter. It's very hard because Mareep is already pretty cute as it is. Make it less like an electric type and make it more look like a fairy type. More pink. Make it more like Flaffy. And Flaffy can stay very similar. And also, this fairy type version can stay on all fours, as some Pokemon do have different stages. And it still looks like Flaffy, but it's a more different version of Flaffy. I know variants are not going to stay straight away from it, but it's gonna be hard to make the stringers the Flaffy from Mareep. But instead of going, it's the same Pokemon, but instead they stay on all fours. It would kind of be like a Jurassic change, like the Zigzagoon line got, or Ponyta, which got a Jurassic change, which we can make it like Galarian Ponyta, but instead of Fairy type. Last Pokemon is Swab and Altaria. These Pokemon should have fairy type versions, okay? Name instead of having clouds, it's cotton candy. And it's pink. That's the only difference you really have to make for Altaria and Swablu. You don't really have to do much else. Just make it more look like a cotton candy, but not sacrificing much of its elephant. Some of these Pokemon do demand a bit much from these Pokemon. Like But there are some drastic different Pokemon such as Alolan Exeggutor existing. So these Pokemon are actually pretty plausible, as Alolan Exeggutor is very much different from normal Exeggutor. I think these Pokemon should get their own versions and new forms. There are many more. Every Pokemon could get a new form at this point. Maybe Sinks and Luxray can get a Dark type form. Bidoof can also get a Dark type form, just like Rattata and Zigzagoon. In another game, Wolf Gibble got a different type, a Water type form, which is a Seesock Pokemon instead of a Landsock Pokemon. Which would be a pretty cool Water Dragon type. Or how about Galarian Chatot? And many more Pokemon that could get regional variants. I think regional variants were a missed opportunity in regions like Kalos or Mimes Jr. could have got a regional variant, and other Pokemon that could have been endemic to Kalos be different. Maybe an even remix they could explore this idea as well, as they could do it to any Pokemon that have been introduced to this area. To the area as well. Like, maybe if we have like a Galarian Honeds. Oh wait, that's not happening. Sorry about that. Or basically Weasel variant of the monkeys found in a different area. Yes, these monkeys. Monkeys that no one likes. And maybe make like Pansage like more better. Weasel variants still have a long way to go, hopefully. And finally we know they graduated from Gen 1 Pokemon. Finally. But they're still mostly Gen 1. Because the last two Galarian forms introduced were also Gen 1 based, which is kind of sad that they're not putting more of other generations. And that's basically it. Goodbye.